Hi, I'm David Benzel. Welcome to On the Line, a must-see video for all of you intending to take a ride behind a boat. In the next few minutes, we're going to look at features common to all towing sports, but in particular focus our attention on water skiing and wakeboarding. We'll show you what to expect before you hit the water. We'll show you how to be prepared with the right equipment and the right gear. All through this video, we'll be emphasizing safety. No matter how skilled you are at these activities, it's obvious you don't want to get hurt.
That's right, David. Skills do go hand in hand with safety. I'm Glenn Flake, today's safety advisor. I'm going to be popping in and out of this video, talking about the things that make your day on the water a lot safer for yourself and others out there. So you can see we're getting ready to go. Boat's full of water so I don't get dehydrated. Putting on my sunscreen, got my sunglasses, and my life jacket. We'll catch you later.
Thanks, Glenn. Let's start with a few things that are common to all on-the-line activities. First, there's your boat, and there's several different types. The inboard boat, inboard-outboard, outboard, jet boats, and V-drives. Each boat performs differently, and drivers need to know the characteristics of their particular boat. Over the years, boats have increased dramatically in power. Some inboard boats now have in excess of 400 horsepower, requiring drivers to show some constraint. Applying too much throttle could injure your skier. If you're considering buying a boat, do your research and only buy what you need for your activity. Today our ski team is launching a ski nautique, and our wakeboard team an air nautique. Our teams have already checked the ignition, turned down the blower to get rid of any gas vapors, and made sure they have the right equipment and items on board.
By law, there's a few things that your boat is required to have. Starting off with a fire extinguisher, a charged fire extinguisher. Coast Guard approved life jacket for everybody on board and whoever you're towing behind the boat. Throwable device, the cushion. Sound producing device other than your booming stereo like a horn. Love that horn. Anyways, boat's gotta be registered. Gotta have a flag for your observer. Paddle. Give me that toolbox. Toolbox just in case you can fix your boat if it breaks. Always good idea to have a first aid kit, you know, for your knuckles you do, or you know, you never know when you need a Band-Aid or something. And then of course, if all else fails, it's always good to have the old cell phone. Hello, David, it's Glenn.
Ah, Glenn, what about the people on board the boat? Is there anything special we should know?
Yeah, David, I know you want to take all your Yahoo buddies along with you, but you're only allowed to take as many as your capacity plate allows. And by law, if you plan on towing anybody behind your boat, you got to have at least 3 people. The driver, the observer, and the person back there.
Our ski team has already put on their gear and is out checking the lake. Our wakeboard team is still getting ready.
What we're gonna do now is take a look at some of the gear we've outfitted you in before we get out wakeboarding and water skiing. Austin, we have you in a short wetsuit, or what we call a shorty. It's really good for warmer temperatures to protect yourself. Celeste, we have you in a full-length wetsuit, which is generally good for a little bit colder temperatures. And if you don't have a wetsuit, a pair of board shorts is fine. Sandals are good to protect your feet on the beach or whatever. And of course, we all have our life jackets on.
And all those life jackets are Coast Guard approved. And they fit good too. How do you tell if your life jacket fits? Do the old life jacket wedgie test. Pick it up. If it doesn't hit their ears, it's a good fitting jacket. Except yours isn't zipped up or buckled. Now anyways, most jackets aren't as nice looking as mine, but now they're making some really cool looking jackets, neat colors and stuff. And they keep you warm, and if you fall, it's good protection too, extra padding and stuff. And if you're under 12 years old and you're on a boat that's 26 feet or less and it's moving, you have to have your life jacket on.
Now, let's join our ski team out on the boat as Brandy goes over important information for the driver and observer.
All right, we as the skiers need to make sure that before we go out on the lake, we know all the hazards that are around us. There could be anything from rocks to submerged trees to docks, bridges, and anything that could get in the way of the skier or the boat driver. You, Gloria, as the observer, need to make sure that you keep an eye out for all these things that are happening while the skier's in the water, or even when you're just out cruising on the lake. You've got to make sure that you use that flag anytime the skier's on the platform or in the water. And the last thing is we got to make sure we use communication with hand signals to let the boat driver and the skier know that everything's okay.
Hand signals are the best way for a person being towed to communicate with the driver and observer. This means speed up. This is slow down. And turn. Back to the dock. Cut motor or stop. Okay. Or okay after a fall. And when you go down in the water, hold your ski up so other boats can see you.
And hopefully you're not down in the water because you drank too many beers. You know, in the state of California, it's illegal to drink if you're under 21 years old. But even if you are 21, it's not a good idea to drink in your boat. You could go to jail, end up losing your driver's license. You know, it's a nice day out, the sun's in your face, the wind's blowing, the engine's running. All these things add to the effects of alcohol. The message is simple. You don't drink and drive, you don't booze in your boat.
But of course you do want to drink plenty of water so as not to get dehydrated. Wakeboarding is a fun and exciting sport that's similar to snowboarding and skateboarding. Anybody can do it, and you can wakeboard behind many types of boats. You don't even have to know how to water ski in order to wakeboard. Let's join Celeste as Chris is describing the different types of boards and equipment.
Hey Celeste, how you doing?
Good.
I want to go over some equipment we're going to be using before we get out on the water today. This is a wakeboard. This is the wakeboard we're going to be using for you. This is 131 centimeters, and that's a really good size for your height and weight. This board is a good beginner board. It has a symmetrical tip and tail. That means if you're riding forward or backwards, it's going to be the same. Also, it's a rounded nose, which will give you a good surface area so the board doesn't sit too deep on the water, but also not too high. This one has a nice continuous rocker, and that's the curvature this way on the board. It'll give you a nice feel off the wake, and it won't be really abrupt or kick you off the wake or anything. On the back, we have a couple deep side rails here and a nice big fin. That'll keep the board nice and stable and tracking straight, especially for a beginner. We're gonna start you out with some adjustable bindings. They're good for different size people and different shapes. You just undo the Velcro, put your feet in, strap them down, and you're ready to go. We're gonna start you out with a stance that we call duck. This way, you're nice and centered over the board front and back, and also whether you're going forwards or switch, it'll be the same feel. There's a lot of different boards and shapes. Some have molded fins, some have four fins, some have cutouts at the end, swallowtail, square nose and tail. You'll worry about those when you get more advanced and start getting a particular style. We're gonna be using a non-stretch wakeboard rope. You really need a non-stretch rope when you wakeboard. That'll keep the rider and your board with the boat the whole entire time. It won't give you any recoil effect. Really important thing with wakeboarding is have a non-stretch rope.
The key to wakeboarding is mastering the right body position. A good strong body position from the start will make learning more advanced skills easier.
All right, now we're gonna take a look at your body positioning when you're actually wakeboarding. But first we need to determine which foot you'll have forward on the wakeboard. Have you ever done any crossover sports like skateboarding or snowboarding?
I've snowboarded.
Okay, when you snowboard, which foot is forward facing down the mountain?
My left foot.
Okay, so it'll be the same with wakeboarding. You'll have your left foot forward, and that'll be facing the boat. Now let's take a look at your body positioning. First, we'll start with your feet. Your feet are gonna be spread apart. Okay, you're gonna be a little bit wider. Okay, that's perfect right where you are. Now, when you're wakeboarding, you wanna make sure you bend your knees. Keep your hips slightly over your front foot, and your shoulders will be facing the boat. Your hands are gonna be straight, hanging onto the handle and close into your hips. And make sure you keep your head up. Okay, feel pretty comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's see what it feels like to be pulled out of the water. Go sit there and grab this handle. I'm gonna be pulling on this so it'll give you the same feel as the boat pulling, okay? What you wanna do is when the boat pulls is keep your knees bent and your arms straight. Let it pull your body up on top of the board. When the board starts planing on top of the water, then you want to stand up and let your left foot go forward. Okay? Let's give it a try. Okay, good. Make sure you let the boat do the work and keep your arms straight. If you pull in like that, your board will wash out from under you. Let's give it another try. Keep those arms straight. Good.
Well, it looks as though Celeste is comfortable in the riding position and looks pretty relaxed and ready for the water. But let's go over a couple of wakeboard terms first. Backside is when the rider's weight is on the heels, and frontside is when the rider's weight is on the toes. Switch stance and fakie are the same thing. And Glenn's got a couple of things to say.
One obvious difference between wakeboarding and water skiing is what you tie the rope to. If your boat didn't come equipped with one of these big towers or a pylon extension, make sure the one you're putting on was designed for your make and model. And another thing is, some boarders like coming up out of the water a little easier than others. So make sure you get that sorted out between you and your rider before you take off. And then, just like in skiing, don't board near obstacles, and if you fall, remember that okay signaling. Keep those hands up so other guys can see you.
Remember that position we talked about on dry land?
Knees bent.
Yep, knees bent, chest up, arms straight. That's the same thing we're gonna be doing right here. You're gonna feel a slight push against the board from the water when the boat starts to go. Remember to keep those knees bent, arms straight. The board will start to plane, and then let that left foot go forward and keep the chest up and look forward. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
You ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
Good, good. Let your left foot go forward. Perfect. Celeste, your hips are gonna face me a little more. There you go. Keep your chest up. Remember that hip slightly forward? There you go. There you go. How's that feel? You feel the difference with your hip like that? Good job. All right, Celeste, you ready? Okay, remember to keep those knees bent, the hips forward, chest up, arms straight. Keep the handle down by your hip, okay? And remember, let the boat do the work, okay?
Ready? Here we go. Perfect.
Once you've mastered the basics of wakeboarding, you can soon move on to learning wakeboarding tricks. Here's Chris to inspire you. As a beginning water skier, you may have some concerns about what you'll be facing when water skiing for the first time. You may be concerned about falling and injuring yourself, or being in the middle of a lake in deep cold water. Be assured that falling off skis is no different than jumping into the water from a dock. And wearing the correct life jacket will keep you afloat and warm. Your first water skiing experience should be with an instructor who ensures that you learn to ski correctly and safely. Here, Brandy starts by explaining to Eddie some basics of the equipment.
Here's the skis we're going to be using for the day. This ski's a little bit wider up at the top and it's wider down at the bottom. It's going to be able to help you pop up on the water a little bit easier. It's also got the concave bottom, which will allow you, once you get up, to be able to stabilize on the water a little bit better and help the ski track a little bit better. And also, we've got the adjustable bindings, which as you can see, we can put to any size foot that you need. So we'll just mount it right up to your binding. Make sure whenever we get these on, try not to get any sand in them because otherwise they won't slide as easy. Okay. Then we're gonna go to this line. Most people start on a 75-foot line, and we're gonna stick you on a 60-foot line just to help so the rope doesn't sway in the water and I can talk to you a lot easier. Okay, this is the 5-foot handle, and whether you be a pro or a beginner or anybody, you can use this handle, okay? Then once you get to the advanced level, we're gonna stick you on this slalom ski. You gonna be trying this today?
Not today.
Okay. Well, this is the slalom ski. It's actually skinnier up at the top and it's skinnier down at the bottom. It just makes it so that you can get on an edge easier, you can carve easier, you can make a bigger spray, everything else. These bindings are a lot tighter. You have to use soap usually to get into them. And the bottom is a little bit flatter. This bottom is made just to keep on edge. So that will be our next step. And then once you learn to get up on this, we're gonna teach you on this handle. And this handle, you'll stick your foot right in between the rope, or your ski in between the rope, and it just helps guide your ski so that you can just pop right on up instead of your ski falling to the side. As far as your life jacket and stuff and the skis go, just make sure that they stay dry and it all stays out of the sun, so that way you just keep really good care of your stuff and it doesn't ruin as quick. All right, let's get on with our lesson.
Learning to water ski for many is linked to some trepidation about what to expect. Dryland instruction is a great way to introduce students to the basic body position and balance.
We're gonna do an exercise that's gonna show you what it feels like when you get out there on the water, okay? I'm gonna give you that handle. I want you to have a seat on the ground. I want you to pull your knees up to your chest and wrap your arms around your knee. Perfect. Now I'm gonna pull and it's gonna be what the boat's gonna feel like, okay? Okay. Now I don't want you to pull yourself up on the boat, okay? I want you to let the boat do the work for you. I want you to not pull your arms in, okay? I want you to keep your arms nice and straight right in here. Exactly.
Okay.
Have a seat and try that one more time. All right, same thing, knees up to chest. All right, and here we go. There you go, much better. Okay. That's much better. Now I want you to poke your chest up and push your chest forward like you're proud and bend your knees. There you go. That's the position you need to be in. Perfect. Very nice. You ready to go out there and try it?
Yep.
All right.
Well, it looks as though Eddie has successfully mastered the dry land lesson, so he's ready to go out on the water. But first, let's remind ourselves of a couple of important safety rules.
Things to remember. Well, you don't want to ski near other boats or hazards. You don't want to put your arm through the handle. You don't want to wrap the rope around yourself. And if you're skiing with a buddy, you want to make sure both ropes are the same length. If you guys fall, remember the OK signal? And get those skis up in the air so other boats can see you.
Now, let's see Eddie in action on the boom.
Keep going out just a tad bit more. There you go, perfect. Okay, now I want you to stay right there, but don't want you to pull in, okay? Let your arms relax, just let them completely out. There you go. That's exactly what I want you to do, okay? Stay right there. You're gonna make sure that everything stays right here. Your arms are gonna be tucked in right here, okay? You don't wanna pull them in here because that's as soon as everything goes right out. Okay, we're gonna start up the boat. Okay. We're gonna start to go in gear just a little bit, okay? Now I want you to push your skis kind of towards the shore, just not towards me a little bit. Bring them towards me, bring your hips a little bit around. Now suck your knees up to your chest. There you go, perfect. Okay, and we're gonna go in gear. You ready?
Hit it.
Feel okay? There you go. Now go ahead and pull your butt in just a little bit. There you go. Very nice. All right, well that wasn't bad, okay? Not for your first time ever. When you're getting up, you've got your butt pushed out here. We've got to get everything pushed up to forward and you've got to be in this position. You've got to ski proud, and I always say ski like an I, okay? You want to ski like this rather than a C, okay? So make sure that next time we go out, keep everything pushed in and keep it right here.
We've just shown you what to expect as you get up on your skis for the first time. Once you get the hang of it, things will start to feel more natural. Here's Bryce skiing behind the boat.
Bryce looks really, really good on 2 skis. He's ready almost for 1 ski. You can tell that he's got his knees bent, his arms are straight, his back's up. He's skiing in that I position, and this is the exact position that you want to be in before you go to 1 ski. You want to be comfortable so that you can cross both wakes. You want to just feel really good on top of the skis.
Once you are comfortable on 2 skis, you can progress to 1 ski.
Go ahead and grab onto the pole. And I'm gonna have you put your foot in the back of the binding, right back there, and we're gonna use your foot like a rudder, and it's gonna be able to steer your ski into whichever direction you wanna go, okay? You want that ski to point just a little bit, maybe to the side, just a tad, not too much, and that's gonna be able to help you get right up on top of that water.
Okay.
Okay? You ready to try it?
Sure.
All righty. Make sure everything stays up with your head up. Keep your knees bent. You're in really nice position. That was very nice. You about ready to try behind the boat? He's right over top of his ski. He's straight skiing like an I, just like we were talking about on 2 skis. He's just how he needs to be.
From this point on, you can concentrate on honing your skills. Soon you'll be skiing more like Brandy every day. There are many additional activities that you can enjoy while being towed behind a boat. These activities include knee boarding, towing tubes, and other unique tow items such as the air chair. Some people don't need equipment at all. They ski on their bare feet. You might not want to try this one yet, though. As in all water sports, the most important aspect is to remember safety. You can have a lot of fun, but the proper safety precautions need to be followed.
And just like any other time you're riding behind the boat, you gotta have your life jacket on. But you little people, if you're in a boat that's 26 feet or less, even though you're not in the tube, you gotta have your life jacket on.
Well, Glenn couldn't wait to get in that tube, but we'll talk more about that later. Let's start with knee boarding, which is fun for the entire family and a great step to take for someone to learn rope control and just experience being towed behind a boat in the middle of a lake. Here's Brian instructing Megan on the basics.
Hello, Megan. How are you today?
Great.
Great. How old are you?
10.
10 years of age. Great. Have you ever kneeboarded before?
Nope.
No. Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go over a few things before we get you out on the water so you feel nice and comfortable here on land before we get you behind the boat. We're going to use the HO Striker kneeboard today. Okay. If you notice, it has a nice foam pad to protect your knees when you're out there riding on the water. It's contoured here. This is where your knees are going to go. We call them knee wells. All right. If you notice here in the tail, it's also concave. That's where your ankle and feet are going to go. All right. When you're kneeling on the board. Here we also have the safety strap. For right now, I don't want you to worry about the safety strap because we're just going to kneel up on the board behind the boat and ride until you get comfortable, and then when we advance, then we'll start using the safety strap, okay? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay the board down. I'm going to have you start on your stomach. Lay the strap up in the front so it's out of the way, all right? So you can lay down on your stomach just like this. Your elbows are going to go right in front of your the knee wells. Notice how I have my elbows right in front of the knee wells? I'm going to hold on to the handle, and once we get going, the boat's going to go real slow, so you don't have to worry about being scared. Okay, we're going to be nice and stable. Once the board gets up on plane, you're going to slide your knees up right behind your elbows. You're just going to walk your knees up, staying as low as possible. Once your knees are right behind your elbows, then you sit down on your ankles and you can sit up just like this. All right? Ready to try it?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Go and start down on your stomach. Excellent. Grab a hold of the handle. All right, Now when you stay in gear and the boat gets up on a plane, you're gonna bring those knees up nice and slow. Go ahead. Nice and slow, stay low. Excellent, got your knees set. Sit down on your ankles, very good. Okay, that's exactly how you wanna do it. Now when we get to more advanced tricks, you're gonna wanna use the safety strap, okay? When you feel more comfortable riding, pull the strap up over your knees, let go with the hand that you feel most comfortable with. There you go. Pull the slack out of the strap. Very good. Cinch it down like Velcro. Handle back on the handle. Excellent. If you fall, what are you supposed to do? Undo the strap and you'll fall right out of the board. Excellent. Ready to try it behind the boat?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Kneeboarding can be performed behind a low horsepower boat and at much slower speeds than skiing and wakeboarding.
All right, here we go. Here comes the rope. All right. Okay, you got the strap out of the way?
Yeah.
All right, very good. What we're gonna do is we're gonna idle to where the slack gets out of the line. When you're good and ready, I'm gonna ask you, are you ready? And you're gonna respond back to me, okay, I'm ready. We'll power up real slow. And the object is you wanna come up with your knees as slow as you can. Okay, don't rush it, because you got plenty of time. We're gonna go real slow at first. Okay, and then when you feel comfortable and stable, then you can slide those knees up. You wanna make sure you keep your hips as low as possible when you're bringing those knees up. And then once your knees are set in those knee wells and you're comfortable, then you can sit down on your ankles and kneel up. Okay, you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Atta girl. Excellent, that looks great.
Tubes come in all shapes and sizes and are free sliding objects with no fins. They slide across the surface of the water with the pull of the boat and the driver in complete control. In other words, the rider is totally dependent on the driver for a safe ride.
You know, it's real easy to get out of control on one of these things, so the driver's really got to pay attention and watch his speed. And when you got more than one person in the tube, watch out for excessive speeds and whips, because heads will end up banging together, and we don't want that to happen.
Using a hydrofoil water ski is a more advanced sport. Design and technology are constantly evolving as the sport grows. It's really important that you get proper safety instructions, and all equipment needs to be checked out before each ride, as worn out or broken parts could cause serious injury to yourself and others. Now, for those of you who have ever thought of teak surfing, here's Glenn to tell you why you should never take this kind of a ride.
Unless you got a gas mask on that's way more sophisticated than the one I'm wearing, I strongly suggest that nobody does any teak surfing. What's teak surfing? Cruising around the lake via the means of holding on to the swim deck. What's wrong with it? Well, the air you're breathing is the exhaust pipe. It's only about a foot away. The propeller's spinning, that's about 2 feet away, and most people do it without a life jacket. Let's see, let me figure that out here. Breathing the exhaust air, spinning propeller, and no life jacket? Don't go teak surfing.
So no teak surfing. You can get all the fun you want out of the variety of on-the-line activities that we've looked at. Some are suitable for young children and families, and some for the more experienced adult. There are also many programs throughout California that specialize in instructing the physically challenged, who can take part in many of these sports. But whoever you are, remember to always protect yourself by wearing the correct gear.
Always wear your life jacket and never drink alcohol while boating.
Those rules apply to all boating activities, and there are still some important rules and regulations we haven't mentioned yet. So even though you are excited to get out on the water, believe me, it's really important you watch what's coming next. When carrying out any water sport behind a boat, you should always have an experienced boat driver. And you should all know the rules and regulations applying to waterways, some of which you are required to follow by law.
Yeah, some of them you have to follow because it's the law. For instance, the maximum speed for boats is 5 miles an hour within 100 feet of a swimmer, 200 feet from beaches, diving platforms, and passenger landings. Make sure you check your local laws because they might be different. And watch out for those speed signs and buoys and other things which tell you that skiing is not allowed in that area. And always be on the lookout for fishermen, swimmers, other boats, and any other obstacle you might find out on the water.
And a lot of you may assume that ski boats have the right of way over other boats. There are no special privileges for power boats involved in on-the-line activities. The rules stay the same at all times. When two power boats are crossing paths, and that includes personal watercraft, the boat on the right has the right of way. Boats under sail always have the right of way.
You have to be at least 16 years old to operate any boat that has an engine of 15 horsepower or more. And water skiing at night is never allowed.
And remember that the observer must be at least 12 years old. Earlier, we saw Brandy and our ski team checking out the lake. When deciding on a place for any towing activity, you should choose an expanse of water that is at least 2,000 feet in length and at least 300 feet in width. It's best if the water surface is calm and protected from wind and heavy boat traffic. After you've scoped out the area for any hazards, and before you start your activity, there are certain things the driver should check out. Cindy, after you've scoped out the area for obstacles or other hazards, but before you start skiing, there's certain other things you have to check out. What are they?
First thing I would check would be the skier's ability level. Make sure I had the right rope length, make sure we knew the right boat speed before we got on the water.
And once you're ready to start skiing, what's the procedure then?
The next step is when they get in the water, we'd make sure that we had a straight line. We want to make sure they're directly behind the boat, the rudder's straight. We want to make sure that we've communicated with the observer, we have a flag, and the skier will then communicate to us by saying hit it, that they're ready. We'll give them a nice, slow, easy pull out of the water.
When being pulled behind a boat, falls are inevitable. It's part of the learning process. When this happens, the observer raises the red flag and informs the driver. The driver should immediately pull back on the throttle, slow the boat down, and return to the skier as soon as possible. It's important to approach the skier on the driver's side at least 12 feet away from the skier, with the skier always in view. Never back up the boat to a person in the water. Shut off the engine when near the skier so there's no danger from the propeller. As well as protecting yourselves and others when boating, it's important to think seriously about protecting the environment. Californians are lucky to have such an abundance of beautiful plants and wildlife along our waterways. So properly dispose of your trash and keep our waterways safe and pleasant for everyone. Such things as spilled gasoline and plastic wrappers can endanger birds and fish.
Well, that's about it. But before we take off, we're gonna make sure the tube's all tied down. We don't want it blowing off. Ropes are all coiled up. All the rest of the gear's stowed. Everybody's sitting down, got the life jackets on. You know, having a good day on the lake's pretty easy to do if you follow just a few rules and regulations. It's gonna make not only your day, but everybody else's a lot safer. So until next time, David, take it away.
Thanks, Glenn. Well, for those of you who have not skied or wakeboarded before, we hope we've given you an idea of what to expect and some pointers to those of you wishing to hone your skills or try a different sport. For more information about boating or instruction, please contact the California Department of Boating and Waterways, your local aquatic centers, or USA Water Ski. This is David Benzel, wishing all of you the best of luck as you pursue your sport, and I hope you spend many enjoyable and safe hours on the line.